Awesome. Yeah. Happy Thursday, Will.
Happy
Thanks
Thursday.
for
How's the week been in terms of FlutterFlow and the Flutter world so far?
it's been wild, man. Building, building. I mean,
Nice.
we're working on what Marketplace 2.0. We're working on a small app for enterprise. I'm building out another app for enterprise. Trying to
Very
build
exciting.
out some templates and sample screens. So
Nice. That's awesome.
it's been
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
think
fun. Lots of new
yeah,
updates.
lots of new things coming for sure, and lots of like beautiful UI improvements too. Excited to dive into that today as well.
Oh yeah.
Should be fun.
Yep. And we have some really cool updates coming. Not even this week, like next week we're launching
Yeah.
like labels, which will be better project management. I mean, dude, I know
Nice.
you and I both have like, I don't know, maybe 100 projects. So,
Yes.
I try to find something and it's like, good luck. So
Yes.
now I'll just be able to tag them, like enterprise,
Nice.
tutorials, live stream, just
Yeah. Yeah,
sample
so
apps.
many folders or so many
Yeah.
projects. I agree.
Yeah.
Especially on the team, given the full
Hmm.
FlutterFlow team is on the same FlutterFlow
Yep.
project team. Yeah, it's so funny seeing everybody's new projects.
Yep.
But it's good.
Awesome.
That means everyone's building in FlutterFlow, right?
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
totally.
That
I
everyone's building
love to see the
figuring
dev
out
team.
something. Yeah,
Love to see the dev team in there.
for
So
sure.
it's going to be fun to build out that. We have that admin panel that we built out in FlutterFlow, and
Mhm.
then it's going to be fun to build out that marketplace 2.0 in FlutterFlow with the dev team. I have two awesome devs on that.
Nice. Oh,
Thank you all for joining.
I see the new expansion icons. Those look pretty good. Look
Hey,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. I
Nice.
also did that in Read It, in addition to all the building in FlutterFlow. So
Nice. Oh, this looks awesome. This looks
yeah,
really great.
I think
Nice.
it's going to be launched to prod later today. So thank you all for joining, guys. Sorry, Will and I are just catching up.
Good. It's
We've only
important,
talked
right?
once this week, so yeah. But we are really excited to just showcase some of the new possibilities in FlutterFlow, how
Mhm.
you can improve. Oh, I need to edit the title of this. Ugh,
Mm.
come on, Andrew, my bad. But we are launching a line dialogue, which sounds really boring. I mean, it just sounds like cool. What is that? I don't know what that is. A line dialogue that makes no sense. But what it unlocks is the ability to create custom drop downs and overlays and make it appear in relation to the parent or the trigger. So instead of just having bottom sheets come up or dialogues in the middle of the screen, you can now have a dialogue appear to the left of a button or the right of a button
Nice.
in a list view. And you can pass parameters. Dude, it is so powerful. Like I'm thrilled. I mean, there's like no
Yeah.
limitations. It's just like dialogue and bottom sheet. You can create your own components and
Nice.
you can do whatever. So in that e-commerce app, I moved the cart from the left. I had it in the left side, always visible. I was like,
Mhm.
that's stupid. Nobody wants that. So I put it in the top, right? I wrapped it in a badge. So now you have, I'll showcase it, but let me change
Nice.
the name of this.
Huge unlock is right. That is a huge unlock. And the phenomenal thing about this, I think, is if you're coming from a technical background, for example, like web development, I'll speak towards that just given my experience, right? Um, Imagining like figuring out a way to do this from a web development perspective with like in WordPress or something like that would be so challenging. So the ease in which you can just create a component and it can be fully customized, right? Like that's the best part. It's not like we added like drop down menus, right?
Yeah.
Like no, this
Yeah.
is not drop down menus. This is like building out full mega menus, for example.
Yep.
I'll use that term, and you could build a full mega menu in a component and just add that in your project with one
Yep.
action, right? It's so easy to do.
It is really, really powerful. I'll go ahead and share my screen and I'll just showcase. I mean, I've posted a bunch of stuff on Twitter about that e-commerce app, but I'll showcase it just for a second. Um, and then we'll sort of dive into how we create these things as well, right? So that's what we'll cover in this. But as you can see, I have my grid view, and oh, I shared screen. I need to activate it.
Nice.
Cool. So I have my grid view. We will also touch on, Will's going to cover responsive grids. And by that, we now give you the ability to set the grid cross alignment, or like the number of elements here, by a variable, which means you can now set it via viewport size. So if I scroll down, that expands. I could go to 5, 6, I can now make this almost fully responsive if I wanted to. But what I really want to show you is this ability to create custom dialogues wherever.
Wow.
You can
animate them in too. Custom animation. Whoa.
Yeah, custom animations. I mean, dude, anything is possible. It's wild. I mean, look at this. Update. You can manage state, right? This is accessing the app state here, because this is the app state list of products, right? We can go to cart. We can navigate from them. I can do all sorts of stuff. It's really, really cool. And best part is I've sort of recreated most of these, or this one for sure. This one and this guy is also available to all FlutterFlow users, right? So this is just within my theme, but this exact design is in the template components within FlutterFlow. Wow. So let me, I guess, share this tab instead. Cool. The way we do this, I have this in a component, so I'll dive into this. And we will also, sorry, this is a little messy because it's, trying to really build this out robustly. But nice. The power of this is all within a single action. It's just like a single action. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So over here on my cart icon, if we go to actions, I sort of I'm going to move us to the side, I think.
Nice.
Or something.
See it, yeah.
How do we get? Yeah. All right. We'll I want to make sure everybody can see this. Okay, cool. So right here, we have an alert dialog. Wish I could zoom up. Sorry, guys. Alert dialog, custom dialog, right? We just select our component. And again, you can create these components just like you could a bottom sheet, totally custom. You're not locked into any. I have a cart, I have notifications, I have an account menu, all custom. Then we have dialog alignment here. So it's where to position the dialog within the screen. So this would be, within your total app screen, where to position it. You also have this ability to align with the current widget. Okay. This is the powerful part, right? So like, I'll show you as well. We have a list view, right? Because the ones I showed you, like, they're powerful, but you could almost do that before, right? Like you could set those things within a column, and make them align to the far right, all that fun stuff. This is a little more powerful because it gives you the ability to dynamically show them next to an element. So align with the current widget, avoid overflow. So here, I'll show you how I did this. And basically, if you have a list view and you have a 3-dot menu on the right, and you have this set to the menu, for the menu to show on the bottom right of that menu, of that icon, it won't go off the screen. It'll just like it'll adjust to the middle of the screen. So, and then this one is just like where on the trigger, right? If you want it to appear top left, right? We could do this 0 or -1, -1. We could do it in the center, or we could do it bottom right is where I have this stuff. So nice. It's going to be aligned over here. And then as you saw, like the cart actually appeared below this, and that I actually implemented myself, right? Like when I do it just like this, it sort of appears over this button, the cart does, which is fine. I wanted it to appear below. So that's the one thing. There's no like, I guess we could try like vertical alignment 1.5, maybe something like that. But what I did was I just created in my order summary here, I just made this have padding.
Ah, that's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't even know. I didn't even know you used that trick. So that's
Yeah.
very,
Yep.
very
So I
great.
just added padding here so it appeared to the, the right of it or the bottom of it. Um, the one of the cons of this implementation, right, is that as you saw here, right, when we click off of this, we close it. The con of that is when you click off of it here, you
Mm,
don't close it because there's just padding. So
got it.
really, probably the way to do this, if you wanted to, is put a container up here within a component and just have it click dismiss dialog. So
Smart.
fun hack, fun
Yes.
little hack.
Nice.
I mean, dude, I literally sat here all day yesterday just like playing with these little menus. Um,
No, they
and
look
then
awesome.
this is
Yeah, and
oh
this is like there's so
so
much
much.
more customization. And the other
Oh,
thing too, I haven't even thought about this, but like you're having it on click. Technically
mhm.
now you could do an enter mouse region, right?
You can. Yep,
So like
you can
now you
totally
could
do
have
that.
hover states for buttons that pop up with
Yep,
dialogues. Like you have all of that now to your
yep,
disposal. So
yep.
really amazing.
And this is that one this is really right because this is what was not possible before.
Wow.
Um, and guess what? You pass parameters, right? This is a dynamic list view. This is backend query, right? Different order numbers, prices, items, everything. And here I can view the details and pass the parameters to the next page
Wow.
because this is a component. So, I just created a parameter for this component and I just passed the order ref. And then since this is an action here, so I'll show you that. Sorry, I know we're jumping around so much, and we do want to build something.
No, this
Um,
is awesome. This is really good to
but
see.
this drop down, right? We have a component. Sorry, not a parameter. Oh yeah, it is parameter. Cool. We have component parameters up here, and I just passed the document for orders, right? And so when I click that I have subpages here. So yeah, when I click that, we get to pass parameters right here. And
Nice.
so if I wanted that menu to be like delete this record, boom, I could delete it. That's a very common use case for a 3-dot menu in a list view like this. So
Nice.
just wild, man. I mean, it is so much fun
That's
to
awesome.
build this stuff. And then if we want to, so I haven't tested this, but you know how that overflow, right? This is appearing to the bottom right. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna bring this in. This is that avoid overflow. So now it appears right here.
Nice. Nice.
So
And for
it's not
anyone
gonna be on
looking
the
at the
screen.
screen right now, it looks like some of the text is warped. That's not on the FlutterFlow side. That's in the stream view as
Oh
well.
yeah, sorry.
Just so you're aware. So the FlutterFlow builder is not being, the dimensions there are being stretched. It's simply the stream that's adjusting that. So just so there's no confusion there.
My bad. It looked pretty good on my screen.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it just unlocks so many possibilities, right? Like
Wow.
you're now able to um you could also add so like sorry, I'm just going and going and going. Um
And
we
I just
will
found out there's a maximize button too. So the stream should be maximized to just the screen
whoa.
as
Oh
well.
yeah, sick. That's
Nice.
awesome. That would have been really great for when I was actually, teaching
Showing the time.
just
Well,
putting
hey,
on that.
we'll build in a minute, right? We'll have it.
Yeah, yeah, we'll build. We'll build.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, this all of this is possible simply because of this custom dialogue, right? Which we released a few weeks ago. But this dialogue alignment is really the powerful that gives you the powerful abilities. Another thing, so like I said, all of those things that I showed, all those drop downs, I didn't add the cart here, but I'll recreate it and add it. But we have all these drop down menus you can choose from for your accounts, right? Notifications, there's the one I used. So they're all here. You can just utilize them. Again, you need to utilize them as components. So, dragging them into your canvas doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can just add a component, choose them, and then edit them as you need, right? So yeah,
Nice.
that's that. Let's go ahead and we'll try to okay, let's see. Oh, sorry, I should do my projects.
And one question while you're pulling up one.
Yep.
Hi, I have a question based on the carts. How can I create an individual Firebase document from each element in the app state? So right now we don't have like an iteration or like a for loop, for example. Like you would
Mm.
have to find a way to, you'd either have to write a custom cloud function for that, at least from my understanding, right, Andrew? Right now, there's not a way to just bulk add like 10 of the same document.
Oh, there is 10 of the same.
Unless you did like you could do a
We
periodic
can't.
action potentially with I don't know
Yeah.
if a
Yeah.
periodic action would work, like, but it would take time, right? Like you wouldn't be able to just quickly create them. I would assume the periodic action would need like 20 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, and it would like go through.
Yep.
You'd have to keep track of the index in the list and iterate through the list. So not a scalable solution right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. You can create multiple documents at once now, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, well, with the batch,
So
like, what do you mean?
you no. So like if I wanted to um create multiple carts or multiple let's say I have a task app, right? And I wanted to create a task for each day. Um I
Got
could
it.
go in there and I could create 7 tasks, right, with different due dates,
Got it.
all at
Yep.
once, which was not possible for a long period of time. Now it is possible,
Wow.
which is really cool. Yep.
Nice, nice.
Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll just start new, right? We're gonna start a page, and I'll do big list view. Right. I wonder if we have one. Well, I'll use our templates. Oh, what we want here is a list view. So we're gonna search for our list views here. Oh, I think table is actually what I want. I should rename that. Okay. Great little table. There you go. Automatically get this stuff, right? And then what we want is we want to create a component with our dropdown, right? Maybe we should try we can do this one. Yeah, we'll do this one. This was the right drop-down menu, FlutterFlow, just so you guys know. So the right-click menu, we actually created it in FlutterFlow, which is pretty cool. So we'll just, whenever we right-click, whenever we click that 3-dot menu, I'll have this guy appear. Okay. So we will go back out to desktop view. Oop, maybe a smaller version. Yeah. Do this. All right. So on this little icon button, just add an action, dialog, custom dialog. We'll select our dropdown. And what I've been doing is for these dropdowns, I've actually been setting a implicit width and height. So all of those had like a set width and a set height. Just so you guys know, I mean, like, I don't have a container that has no height, right, set, so it's dynamic. Well, this one actually is because it has it. Well, we'll see. We're gonna see. We'll see how this works. So what we'll do
Nice.
is get the dialog. We'll align with the current. on it. My computer's running a little slow, so hopefully it's not too bad. We're gonna do this as well. Boom. Okay, we're gonna avoid overflow. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and test this because we can. Oh,
And if you're just joining us, what Andrew's actually diving into is the new custom dialogue, the align dialogue that we'll be releasing to uh, the public version of FlutterFlow very soon, which is really exciting, right? You can make essentially custom pop-ups, drop-down menus, all of that. And these are dynamic with lists. You'll see that as we continue to build. So that's what he's showcasing right now, which
yeah.
is extremely exciting for responsive development in FlutterFlow.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is really next level stuff. Yeah, so much fun, dude. It's so much fun. We also have these new expand icons, so hopefully
Nice.
you guys enjoy that. Dude, it's so hard to come up with icons sometimes that explain what it does, but all that fun stuff. So
That is very hard. There's
all
so
right.
many icons out there in the world too, right?
Yes.
Like, for example, just the FlutterFlow editor. Like, I wonder how many icons have been designed or
Oh,
placed in there, right? Like,
yep.
so many. It's crazy.
We're gonna add an action here. All right. List view demo. Great. Cool. We're gonna add that to our main nav so we can actually just get to that. Let's go back to
And a quick question while you're continuing to do that: is it possible to do SEO on a FlutterFlow site? So that's a great question.
Yeah.
It's
Question.
it's kind of interesting, right? Maybe not the most quote unquote like optimized SEO, right? But it is possible to do some SEO, and that's actually a Flutter issue, not necessarily a FlutterFlow
Yeah.
issue, right? So Flutter is just limited in some SEO capabilities, simply because it's not their like highest focus, right? So, is there anything you want to add to
Yeah.
that, Andrew?
Yeah. It's very true. There's like metadata per page. We do have the ability when you have dynamic link set up, you have web publishing, I think you can write a description, but we also have
Yeah.
this on every widget, right? So on your buttons, on your list view items, you can add these semantic labels, which does help with SEO, right? It let the crawlers know what button leads to where, what you're displaying, right? So screen readers and stuff. So that is beneficial. That's one thing. Let's see. Oh, another thing that we're doing, right? We are making data just so you guys know, right? We're not tying it to Fire. They weren't tied to Firestore to begin with. Now data types can be accessed via app state and component state and all that fun
Nice.
stuff. So big deal there.
We
Yeah, it's
just
gonna
had
be
a
really
comment about that, right? On
yeah,
Twitter. Someone was having a big question about it when migrating from another platform. So that's really awesome.
yeah. So we have that stuff going. My test is up. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. I have to sign in. I love that we give hints. Let's see, FlutterFlow. Maybe. I'll just create an account. Cool. All right. So we're gonna have to reload this because I didn't have the nav bar in the first go. So Liman, we'll try to get support to help you out. Just trying to upgrade. So we want you to be able to access everything.
Nice.
Let's see. All right. Cool. So we have this. I did a little live stream about hero animations. So I just wanted to showcase that. It's pretty cool. Let's go find users. And now we have this. Yeah. So see, you do need sort of this set height, right? It will help. Right now, this is what I want. Right. So little difficult.
Nice.
with this type of menu because we have expandables. So let's see what we can do to solve that. Typically, what you could do is you can wrap this guy in a column.
Oh, if you want to share that, you might have to
Oh
switch to
yeah,
that screen.
yeah. Thank you.
I'm so interested to see all the things that people make with this because now I'm like my mind's just going and thinking about like how you could make slide in menus and all sorts of
Oh,
different
yeah.
things, right? It would be really exciting.
Yep. So I'm going to wrap this guy in a column because typically what will happen is when you don't set a height on the container and it's just the container, it'll take up the full height of the screen. When you wrap it in a column and it'll sort of reduce itself, right, to the minimum. So I'm going to see if this works. If not, it's okay. We don't need to really utilize this type of menu. We can do just one of our regular drop downs. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun, dude. This unlocks so much. Just it really unlocks a whole bunch. I'm also really excited about what it's gonna get. Look at that. Come on.
Nice. That looks
Come
awesome.
on. Oh, I'm so happy with this.
Wow.
That you can do this is sick. And you can do hover states right on these guys. You could do any, like I said, if this was a dynamic list, we could pass in that record here. Doesn't cost us to read at all. You know, just like we could edit this, whatever it is. I mean, CRMs, huge update, right? Anything that manages a list, anytime you need to manage a list, you can do this now. Wild, just wild. So, oh yeah, these aren't dynamic, so I just have it on that one. But hopefully that explained how to do that. Well, really excited to see, as you said,
for sure.
What this. And we could build, we could build a mega menu as well. I do want Will to sort of show the responsive grid view, and I'll try to ask questions as he's doing that. But
Nice.
this is so much fun, so much fun.
Yeah. No, and then rough estimate of when this will be available to users. When do you think, Andrew? Today, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll say tomorrow. We'll say
Nice.
tomorrow. Okay. Today, I was gonna check on app. I think it needs to go through some testing.
Nice.
But I was just asked to the dashboard. Sorry, the marketing graphics for all these announcements. So I think we're gonna try to deploy today.
Awesome. Yeah, for people that are just joining, essentially Andrew just went over this new align dialog that we have, which really enables you to create drop-down menus, custom kind of pop-ups that align with, query data as well, list data. So you can now have, if you look on the actions on the right side there, if you were to click the three, that icon there, right, it would pop up with a menu. And so this is going to be extremely exciting because you can animate that in, you can align it with the page, all sorts. It's just huge for responsive design.
Yep.
And you can customize the menu in its entirety, right?
Yep.
So
we could, as you can see, like all of those animations that I did in the e-commerce app that I showed before, if you guys are just joining, we did a demo of, all the things possible with this before. And all you have to do is set up on-page load animations. So, whenever it comes on the page, it's just going to animate in whatever you want to do. So I love a little tilt. I'm a real big fan of this tilt, we'll just go ahead and do that. Maybe do that. Maybe scale it a little bit. You don't want to add too much, okay? Don't get too crazy, but it's just fun to see what's possible.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be nice, right?
Very cool.
So, and then we can just go over here and we'll showcase this again. Maybe I'll make this screen a little bigger so we don't get that overflow.
I'll make it full screen as well so everyone can see.
Oh, all good.
And this is an action, right? That's the cool part. This is not like a full custom widget you need to add in. This is just an action, which pulls up a component that you've designed, right? So
yep. Yeah, this is just an action. I mean, just absolutely wild.
Very cool.
That's possible.
Nice.
Come on.
Yep. That's awesome.
And then, as we said, like
pass
I think
parameters, state
we can
variables.
pass parameters. Oh yeah. And then we could also like if we go back here, let's go ahead and try that like one, maybe
Oh yeah,
two.
the
Let's see.
1.5, or it'd probably be like 3 for
Vertical.
this one. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll probably vertical align two, right?
nice,
We'll see how that is. And then we'll go back. Just so that because this is sort of important. Like I know it's a little nuanced, but it is sort of important, like where the menu shows up and how to sort of adjust it. So
for sure.
we'll see if that works. You can also, if you are just joining, before we showed how to manipulate that spacing or alignment via padding within the component. So that's also possible, but didn't really
Nice.
change. Well, it probably didn't change much because the trigger is only like 40 pixels. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd probably
yeah,
have
I
to do
feel like a pretty big.
it
Yeah,
moved down like 10, but yeah, I'd have to do it like 10 of them. So
that's
let's
funny.
go ahead. We'll
Nice,
move it down to 8. Vertical alignment 8.
nice.
Uh yeah. I changed it to 8. So we'll see if it actually did
A
anything.
little further down.
Yeah.
Well, that's loading. Quick question I can answer. Every time I merge a FlutterFlow branch with my custom code branch, it overwrites my code and deletes my files. Could you provide a solution for us? So this is actually a pretty tricky GitHub branch like feature. So if you look through our community forum, oh, I'll pause for a second too. I want to showcase what. Yeah, so it did move down a considerable amount. That's
It
awesome.
it did.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
that's sort of great in all
nice.
honesty. I'm a
And it would
big fan.
be dynamic, right? So if you were to
Yeah.
have all of those
Yep.
created, yeah.
Yep. So
Wow.
I could go and I can well yeah, I'll do that. You answer questions. I'll
Yeah.
make this an actual list view.
Nice.
So
Okay. Yeah. So I'll jump back in and show that question. So every time I merge my FlutterFlow branch with custom code, it overwrites my code, right? So this is kind of a tricky situation, the way the branches are set up. We have that diagram in the FlutterFlow documentation. Now, if you look into the FlutterFlow docs, you'll see some people have also experienced the same issue, and it really comes down to how you're managing the code. Unfortunately, the way everything is set up, no matter like what custom code you were writing, you would have to keep that on your device and then always push that back on top of FlutterFlow after the changes. So it's not going to keep your changes in GitHub when FlutterFlow is pushing, um, its changes to GitHub. Now, a solution to this is actually using the FlutterFlow CLI. So if you are using something like Visual Studio Code or another IDE, right, you could use the FlutterFlow CLI. Basically, what that does is you can connect with your project ID from FlutterFlow. You can initialize a repository, right, or initialize a repo, and then pull that info from FlutterFlow, and it's going to update every time there's a change made in FlutterFlow. So that allows you to initialize the repo, make changes in Visual Studio Code, pull updates from FlutterFlow when you're making changes on the builder, and continue to push that together. And you can manage your branches and changes within Visual Studio Code there. I'm just using Visual Studio Code as an example. That's the platform I'm familiar with. So kind of
yeah,
tricky,
yeah,
but if you look through the community, there are a lot of conversations about that. Hopefully that should resolve your issue.
yeah. So I went in and I made this. Yeah, I
Nice.
made this
A list.
a user query, right? A list view of user queries. And then what we could do is let's go back to our dropdown and we'll create a component parameter,
Nice.
user ref. We'll just we'll do document users, right? We'll do that. And then we will, I don't know why I have this row here. Why do I have a row there? Let's go ahead and replace that with a column. And then what we'll do here is we'll say options for, align that, and we'll put the user's name right here.
Nice.
That way we can validate this is correct.
That's
Right?
awesome.
We're doing a lot on live,
This is awesome. This is really exciting. And like it's so cool because, for example, right, the drop down menu right there, it's so cool the fact that you have that defined height. So when you toggle a drop down, it scrolls, right? Like that's even cool within itself. I don't know. It kind of like unlocks so many different
Oh,
features. That's
dude,
powerful.
so many things. Like I can't wait to start just creating these
Yeah.
tables and all sorts of fun stuff, man.
Nice.
Um, dark mode looks great. Um, cool. Let's go ahead and instant reload this.
Nice. And then
And
you might
as
have to share
yeah,
the instant
oh
reload
yeah,
screen
I'll
when
I'll
it's live.
I'll share this screen.
Nice.
As we said, as Will and I were saying, we're just showcasing the new alert dialog. We're doing this on a list view. This is like dynamic. I mean, look at this. We have yeah, have the ability ghost user. So that one is the default. So let's go ahead and see if Nathan. We get options for Nathan here,
Nice. That looks so
right
awesome.
there. We get
Nice.
another ghost user. We get Andrew Daniels down here. I need to make sure this
Wow,
scrolls. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna come back and make sure it scrolls,
that is so
and then
cool.
just find it. Oh, dude, it unlocks
So
so
many features.
many cool things. So many cool things. I
Nice.
mean, like, yeah, like even on my on that e-commerce app, right? Before to get that sort of set up with a nav bar and drop downs. And I just literally somebody told me yesterday was like, how do I do this? And I was like, oh well, yeah, you have to wrap it in a stack and they have to
Yeah.
do this. And then like we released the alert dialogue and I was like, sorry, revert that, revert, you can
That's
now do
awesome.
it, or you will be able to do it pretty easily. So yeah, this is great. We have this. We have overflow. We are voiding overflow. So even down here, we get this drop down up here. Um,
Can you
oh,
scroll
so
with one of those open or no? Technically, no, right?
no,
Okay.
no, yeah. So the dialogue takes over the whole screen, and and by default, you actually get an overlay when you get this drop down. So if we come back over here, right, you can set just like you can. Um, right? You get the barrier color. So we could actually set this to our accent 4 so that we could show it. And if we come back, and that's what I had on that cart page. Yeah, that's what I had on that cart
Wow.
page.
You know what I'm just realizing? This is a huge feature unlock
Oh, yeah.
for specifically now you can make in-app tutorials because
Oh, yeah.
you can do a
Yeah.
blocking
Yeah.
feature or you can't get rid of it. You have to click next in the custom dialog and then it'll only like yeah, that's crazy. That is
Killer.
unbelievable. Wow.
Killer. So see, we get this overlay too. If you don't want, if you want to sort of have that out, you just want this dialogue to show, you can do that. I mean, I just love this ability. This is just, it's sort of wild, that
Wow.
you have this much functionality within a drop down. Like,
Mhm.
again, we weren't like, yeah, people want drop downs. Let's give them
A
a
drop down
very
menu. Yeah.
customizable drop down. Yeah, like, no, you get to choose whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. You unlock the freedom. This is, oh, my designer instincts, like all I did yesterday was design drop down menus and I freaking loved it. Like,
Nice.
oh,
It's so easy too. Like that's the other thing is I can't like appreciate how much time this would have taken if I
oh yeah,
had to do this in HTML, CSS, and like JavaScript with some of the changes there, or like doing this with React or other things. Like I cannot even fathom
drop
that.
down menus in general suck. Like even in HTML and CSS, like on hover sucks, So like we mentioned earlier, you could trigger this on hover, right? We could do that right now. I don't want to because I think I'll break everything, but you could trigger these things on hover. And even that ability is really hard to do in HTML and CSS.
Mhm.
Like nobody has done it. There's ways to do it. You can get around it, but like um yeah, even complex mega menus on hover are very hard to do. So I'll showcase a mega menu because I think it's really cool. I'll do it later. I don't think we have time
Nice.
now, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is just so much fun, man.
No, it's awesome. And again, like I keep on thinking of all these different like use cases. So this will be really exciting. Really
Yeah.
exciting.
And just, for anybody that has joined since we started, we have the ability to do very complex drop down menus, just as we said, right? overlays, animations, all sorts of fun stuff. So
Yeah, dynamic. Yeah,
yeah,
fantastic.
dynamic. I mean, just oh, I'm
Nice.
I'm so happy. I'm literally thrilled.
That's awesome.
And I'm also thrilled. Please let me know what kind of drop down menus y'all will want, right, in your
Sure.
apps, and I will build them out. Can't copy, right? But we'll try to recreate some things for our users.
Yeah.
So
This is
yeah,
a
it's gonna be
custom action that's not available yet, but will be coming out soon. Hopefully
yeah,
this week. So yes, very
yep,
exciting. I'm gonna pause real quick to answer a couple questions.
yeah.
Here's one from Dre Simmons. Is it possible to order items in a app state by dates or name or something? Um, so this is kind of tricky the way you set it up, right? If you're storing documents, no, because you're not querying the documents. A list view is just storing a list, right? A list of references, a list of strings.
Yeah.
Now, if you were storing a name or a date and you wanted to organize that in alphabetical order or something when you display it, now that is where you'll need to use something like a custom expression, right? So you would, generate children from the list, but what you would have to do is reorder that list when you generate the children and use a custom expression to basically sort the list or a custom function, right? It can get kind of tricky. That's why typically lists, I wouldn't recommend using those super often because, right, like they can get tricky when it comes to querying, sorting, right? We're not using
Yeah.
like Firebase to create indexes and organize all this stuff. It's simply just a list, right? So,
Yeah. Which is what I do for that cart, in that e-commerce a few weeks ago.
nice.
I just did a list of references. There's no need
Mhm.
to now, and I do transition that list from app state to Firebase, right? Like in the checkout flow, that's what happens. You just sort of set. So I don't know if that's what he's asking, but yeah, there's a way to do that. It's
Yeah.
just
You
yeah,
could, yeah, wouldn't do it in a list view per se. Yeah.
yeah. So
Another one. Um, yeah, the local data types will be very exciting, right? You can utilize those. Is FlutterFlow for mobile design or web design? It's for both fully responsive, native, iOS,
yep,
Android, and web. I'll let you
yep.
take that,
So
Andrew. Yeah.
oh yeah, my guy. Yeah. So as you can see, let's see if we can do this. So we built this e-commerce app during our live stream, and I've added on to it. It's not just all during our live stream, but um, we have this ability. Let me get my view developer tools. I'll try to. Yeah.
Nice.
So as you can see, this wraps right. We have that. We have the home page, right? We have a list view here.
Awesome.
We have products. I mean, all of this stuff is the same. This is just wrapped. Um, we can add to the cart. We also get our dialogs here. I mean, come on. Yeah, that's wild. It's just great. So we have an updated navigation, right? On web, we had a top bar. And on mobile, we have a bottom navigation bar, which is a little more common. We also are showing app bars here, right? On mobile. So I need to adjust this profile. It's not consistent, but pretty
Nice.
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is so much fun to build. And then if we just can we expand this out? How do I expand? We'll just go to a iPad mini size. Right, we still get that same thing.
Yeah.
And
And again, this is not the scale issues are in the streaming platform, not in FlutterFlow. So what you're seeing, how the screen is smaller, that's actually just because of the way the screen is being shown because Andrew's in inspect view or developer view and
yeah,
showcasing the
is
screen.
this
I just want to make that very
squished?
clear.
Yeah, is it squished for y'all?
It's if we maximize it, it'll be like full screen, and then if
Okay.
right now it's just squished together, yeah, because it's taking the full
Oh, okay, I'm
browser.
sorry.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I just want to clear that up. I don't want people thinking, right, that FlutterFlow is just, taking your text
Yeah.
and everything and making it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But this is it's a lot of fun to build responsively, you know. And if we go back here, um,
Yeah.
I'll share the tab. Um, you know, you have the ability to just sort of drag this in, right, and adjust your screens. This is probably a terrible, well, this
A
isn't
non-responsive
nice,
page that
but
you made,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's sort of responsive, but it's
Well,
not
at the table, yeah.
perfect. Yeah, not perfect. So let's go ahead. We'll go to home because we made this responsive, or generally responsive, I guess. Yeah.
Nice.
So we have this. I think that we have spacing here, and what
Oh,
we
you can make
could
that.
do,
Yeah, nice.
like this is a small desktop. Oh, let's just go ahead and change our breakpoints. I hate that our desktop starts at 991. Like I just don't get it. I'm gonna do 1270. I'll do 991 here. That's good. That's a little more common. There you go. All right. There.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I mean, I think those are material guidelines, you know,
Yeah,
so like it's not bad.
yeah,
I just I prefer
nice.
a little larger. So
The web
yeah.
designer in you. Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
awesome.
And I mean, now talking about responsive, I'll finally pass it over to the man, Will. And I'll let him share and talk
Yeah,
about
you got
responsive
it.
grids.
You
So
got it. So I'll jump into that and feel free to stop. I know there's been a bunch of questions as well. So I'll be sure to pause here and there. But what I'm going to jump into is a project. This is something hopefully you'll see in June. So stay tuned for it. But yeah, so before the ability to set different variables, set by variable for grid views, right? Typically, what we would have to do is either set up multiple views and do conditional visibility, or you'd have to use a wrap and just set a static width for a container or something like that. So that's exactly what I did here, right? Where I have this page, I have a max width for the container, and I have a wrap here, which just has containers in it that are, right, a max, or I have like a width set. Now, if I were to shrink the page, you'll see, in this case specifically on this width, now I can only fit two different containers here because I don't have it set responsively. I just have a set width. So the way we've resolved that again is by adding the new set by variable for grid views, which is extremely beneficial for any responsive design, especially again if you're coming from like more of the web focused design. This is
yep.
critical, right? By being able to switch grid views from 4 to 3 to 2 depending on the device size. So what I'm going to do, I'll actually just adjust this live, right? I'll have to adjust this now, or I can adjust this now, because we now have the grid view. So if I go into this, I have a column here. So let me actually add the grid view to the column. Oops, I have to adjust.
Oh, just maybe replace with. See if replace with will work.
Oh, the wrap?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I
don't know. It might
there.
be.
Oh no. Oh yeah. The cards probably don't have like or yeah. There's
Yeah.
probably something within the card. So
what I could do, let's do this instead actually. In the top
yeah,
column, I'll add a grid. So there we go.
perfect.
Right? And now what I could do, let's see if I can just paste the listing into the grid okay. So there we go, right? So if I click on my grid view, you can see, obviously I want the axis vertical, but now there's these new set by variable icons for all of this, which is again, fantastic. So on a mobile view, I could have it, longer. I could have it, the height adjusted or whatever I need to do. So in this case, on a desktop view, maybe I want 4 cards, but then I could have it set for tablet view to be 3 cards, right? So I could go in here and I could do, if, let's do global properties, right? Or I could do a condition.
Oh yeah, condition. Yep.
And I could do if screen width is equal to, or we'll say greater than, what do you think, 1200?
Yeah,
Is that
1200.
1200, right? I could do 4, and then I could do an if L. Oh, whoops. I could do, where is it here? Oh, I got to add another. There we go. I could do an and statement. So if the screen width is, I guess I can copy this every time as well. But if the screen width is, let's say, less than or equal to 1200, and maybe I'll just copy this to make it easier.
Oh, love copy and paste variables. It's the best.
Right? And greater than what? 800? I mean, I'm just setting, what do you want to do? 900?
Yep.
800?
Yeah, 800 works.
Cool. Set that, right? And I can continue this. So let's do 3 on this case, right? And then I'll just do 2 otherwise.
Perfect.
Or actually, I'll do 1 otherwise, right? So if I click OK, and then I can set maybe the spacing to be 12 and 12 here.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I need to potentially adjust this as
You
well.
can even
listing.
You can even set the aspect ratio. So instead of doing like, maybe on desktop you want it to be a square or I don't know,
Exactly. Yeah.
A rectangle, right? And then on mobile you want it to be a square or something. You could totally change that.
Yeah, maybe I'll just showcase that too, right? So in this I'll do 1, but maybe on mobile I want it to be 1.5 or something like that. Whoops.
Oh, I guess it's not a double.
Well,
it's yeah, it should be do your return type.
There we go.
Yeah, do it to double. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because that's what it should be.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. I'll just set the default as 1. Okay, and then
a lot.
What's up?
Oh, somebody was commenting. What did I miss?
Oh,
I guess they just joined.
A lot.
Yeah, you missed a lot. You're gonna have to rewatch the stream. Will is covering responsive grid views right now, doing an awesome job at it.
I remove that, and I also have a hover, which is gonna be. I don't know if I could do infinite, right? Is that gonna break it?
Yeah, you can. No, it won't break it.
Oh, it might have broken it.
Oh no, it's okay. You can set it.
Nothing live.
Yeah, essentially, I think it'll just retain whatever aspect ratio. So like, just do like 300 height, and it'll be overridden by the aspect ratio. It'll come back.
That's what happens when we build a beta here.
We'll pass it on to the dev team.
I have to pause my sharing and share a different page.
All good, man. All good. I can take over for the grid view. I'll
this is what happens when we're building in beta, right? Features might not be ready to go. So.
So let me go back to that e-commerce app. I'll just go ahead and do that. We will. I'll showcase it. So I have this grid view here. Before, literally, like I had to, I wanted this to respond, and I had to duplicate this view. Like that's what I did. That was my solution before this came out. So now I have cross alignment, 1371. I want it to be 4, and then after that I want it to be 3, right? Up until like the tablet view, and then on 2. But actually, I think I have it hidden on screens below that. So we'll reveal that now, and then I'll come down to my list view, hide that on tablet, small tablets. So we will I'll test this, and we'll check out. So, but yeah, essentially you can set this grid view now from a variable, which is amazing, right? You can now so nice. When we were designing the project dashboard, we also designed that in FlutterFlow. And one of the things that devs had to do was fix that, because it was like, 3 across, but we have users with 1920 screens, and we have users with 1270 screens. And it's like, dude, you can't really do much there. It's like, oh my gosh. So
I found the issue too. I had the listing view, or I had the wrap view, and I was giving the objects in the wrap view an infinite width and height.
Ah,
So
yeah.
it didn't know how to load that. So we're back.
Gotcha.
Actually.
Cool. Cool. Well, I can pass it back to you if you want.
No, you can keep
So,
showing. I'll
all right.
yeah, if you want.
Yeah, we can answer some questions while this test mode is loading.
Nice.
I'll just set it there.
Cool. I just ran my test mode too, so hopefully we can show
Cool.
the dynamic changes.
Nice. Winston, glad to have you from Webflow over to FlutterFlow.
One of the features we didn't talk about too, which we can jump into after this, is the new copy widget styling.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Nice.
So as you can see, I have 3 grid items here. And if we go big, all right, we have 4. And then if we go really small, right, maybe we still have 3. Let's see if we can. Is there a smaller one? I want to like. There's not. Well, we can't really see the 2, but well, or here. Yeah, we can. We can totally see the 2.
Nice.
Let's do 760. Oh. Looky there. That is clean. That's really clean. Cool. Rock on. I'll let you reshare, and then copy styles. I'll let you showcase that as well.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm waiting for this to load here, so I'll share my screen.
And dude, some of these features, like we released the multiple, like edit multiple selected widgets at once a few weeks ago.
Nice. Yeah, dude, this looks beautiful. I'm excited.
All right, cool.
Okay, so can you see this?
Show you.
All right, so this is something we are working on. So this is very exciting. But here, right, we have 4, like a grid view of 4, right? Set at 1.
Yep.
Now, if we jump down to iPad, now we have 3. Look how perfect that looks. Everything looks the exact same, like beautiful. Now let's jump down to mobile view. I haven't made, like, I don't know what it will look like. I haven't checked on that.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Okay, and then it changed
Come on.
to 1.5, just like we wanted, right? And I love it. So cool. I mean, I could change that to, I'll change that really quickly just to maybe 0.5, so it'll be longer instead. And I'll refresh the page here. But yeah, so exciting, right? So this is like so good for responsive design.
It's amazing.
Building responsive apps, right? This is awesome. So let's see.
It really is like just so great.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So I did 0.5, so now it's like extra long, right? So I need to adjust that. But yes, you can see.
But it showcases what's possible, right?
Exactly.
It showcases the possibilities.
Exactly. I'll jump and show the project here. So yeah, right. Obviously it won't show because I have a conditional visibility set, so it's just going to shrink the 3 in the builder because I also have queries. But yes, so one of the last things we wanted to showcase, again, this was just the grid view. Now you can set everything from variables, which is super exciting. Last thing to really showcase too is the new option we have in the menu and the shortcut, which is copy widget style, which is Command-Shift-C. So this is awesome because now, we've added features like shift clicking, widgets that are the same to change everything. We've added the ability to convert things into specific theme widgets, all of that. But now you can even, I could go to this text, I could copy the widget style. I don't even know what's going to happen if I paste the widget style. Okay, right. So there we go. It changed literally everything from the widget, including the text even. I didn't even know it would change the text.
Yeah.
So,
I know. Maybe that's a bug, not a feature. You guys let us know in the
comments. So yeah, but again, that's Command-Shift-C, so I could go in and that's so cool. I could take this text in here, Command-Shift-C, and then Command and Shift B, and it's going to replace. Right now, it kind of replaces the widget, but what it's actually doing, we'll look into that, right? But we're copying the full
Changes
widget
styles.
style. So again,
Yep.
super exciting. I wonder, can I paste it to multiple things? No, I cannot. Okay.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah. I even tried to edit like variables on multiple, and we don't have that ability yet. It's just like base styles.
Nice.
But dude,
Still
such
awesome.
a game changer. Such a
Yes.
game changer. Like
Nice.
I was trying to do the same, and I love Webflow. Don't get me wrong. I was trying to do the same Webflow, and I wasn't able to. And I was like, dang, I want to change all this, So
Yeah.
it's really moving us towards that platform, that
Nice.
ability to build almost everything within FlutterFlow. So
For
yeah,
sure.
awesome. This was a great stream, if I do say so myself. Uh, great work, Will. Thank you so much for showing us that. Let's see. Copying and moving. We'll answer some questions before we end, so you guys aren't left off the bit. But I love mobile.
One
When
thing One thing that I did realize too, that I don't know if a lot of people in FlutterFlow know, you can actually connect multiple projects to the same Firebase project.
yes,
Sure
you
if that
can.
was people knew that, right? I mean, it'd be the same if you did just added the same API calls, but like
Yep.
we've seen different use cases for that now, such as like admin
Right.
dashboards or things like that,
Yep.
where like maybe you don't want any page accessible from a core
Yeah.
project and you want to have a
Yep.
completely different link, completely separate, interface, whatever, but still edit the same data. So something to explore.
Yep.
The Uber
Uh,
driver.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Uber marketplace apps, right? Kaleo designed one, and which I'm trying to update, or they're trying
nice.
to update now for pro athletes and athletes, right? So like pro athletes can post training plans, athletes can purchase those training plans. Those are two different apps because they're two totally different interfaces. And
Nice.
they interact with the same Firebase, send push notifications one to another, which is really cool. Like that capability is awesome. But yeah, I wanted to ask this. So Winston, responsive design. For me personally, I find it easier to design in desktop first because the way you design, it's just a row column, right? So like
Yeah.
when designing in desktop, you typically will have a row that stacks stuff horizontally. In mobile, you have a column that stacks things vertically, right? So you would typically need to start with that row, right, first. If you don't, and you try to add it later, it could break things. So I typically will start in desktop and then move down to mobile because everything I'm designing for mobile will be within a column within that row. So
Nice.
I'm gonna design it anyways, but I'm setting up my structure correctly first. So I always start with desktop first, with a row. I put my navigation there. If I have a side nav. If I don't have a side nav or don't have like a multi-column layout, then maybe I just do everything in a column. But
Nice.
typically, I'll start in desktop with a side nav, and then my sections that I want stacked
Mhm.
horizontally, and then move to mobile. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
great
I
question.
think the hard thing there, especially, is like if you've ever taken a mobile app and tried to make it a website, it's so much harder because there's so much more space to fill. It's a lot easier to hide things in a mobile view
Yeah,
through menus or
yeah,
pop-ups, but like taking a mobile app and transitioning to a web app is very challenging because you have to figure out kind of where to place everything. So
yep,
that's something I've noticed at least.
yep, yep. Let's see. There's one more. Um, let's see. Copying and moving multiple items. Joseph, in the roadmap. Oh, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, probably is. Yeah, right now you can only copy one item at a time. Now you can wrap those things in a column, and then you can copy the column over. Um, that's typically what I do.
It could be tricky, right? Because things are in like
Yeah.
widget trees, right? So you would only be able
Yep.
to copy things within the same widget, right? Like it wouldn't
100%.
make sense to
Yeah.
copy like text up here and a container here because how would you paste that structure in another page, right?
This is great. Yep.
Yeah.
Great insight.
So
Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, in my opinion, yeah, just wrap that in a parent, copy the parent over,
for
and
sure.
then you should be good to go. So,
Nice. Cool.
um, do, yep. Teserman, e-commerce backend. Oh man, Yeah, I mean,
Kind of tricky.
technically, yeah, it is. I mean, any e-commerce app really, like apps in general are meant to be a focused view for your users where they can manage their accounts and stuff. So, e-commerce is like totally separate from that, in my opinion, right? Like you should almost always, you can build full inventory app. Like that's my,
Yeah.
if it's a marketplace app, it makes sense. So my wife and I are building a marketplace e-commerce app for fashion for consignment stores, right? So like
Yes.
we're gonna have that capability, but it's a very niche clientele, right? It's like you have multiple sellers, you have a physical location, you have the ability to like manage different things. That works well because there's no like platform like Shopify is not going to work for that. Like WordPress isn't going to work for that. So like
Mhm.
building that stuff out makes sense in FlutterFlow where you're building stuff custom. But if you're building a single store, again, you could build it in FlutterFlow and you could use Stripe as a checkout. But typically, you want uh, a real actual website with an inventory. So I would suggest like hook up the APIs for Shopify. We did have we have people doing that on FlutterFlow. There's some guys which I talked about
Mhm.
Gifted. They're doing an amazing job connecting with Stripe with Shopify APIs. It's phenomenal. So yeah, I would reach out to them. But they're building an awesome startup based off that. They have a Chrome extension that they're building as well in FlutterFlow. They built their entire app in FlutterFlow. It's wild what is possible. So, yep. Um,
Answered Paul's question really quick. Maybe when it comes
yep.
to building products, typically what I'd recommend people to do is start with like a website front end. Um,
Yep.
that way you can host your policies, you can host all sorts of things, but then lead them to an app, right? Like remember, this is a web app. So you probably don't want to use a web app for like everything. It's probably not best
Yep.
practice. Like
Yeah.
most
Exactly. Even in
companies, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
oh, I was just gonna say like even in React or Angular, like you probably
Yeah.
don't even want to do that there. Like you probably want to do HTML and CSS.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Most popular tools you use do the same, right? Like most tools probably have that website portion and then redirect you to an app. So,
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Paul, you can build the knowledge base, the client portal. You can build all of that within FlutterFlow. You can make it responsive. You can deploy to the web and to native devices. The web shop, again, depends on how many items there are, what you're selling. Are they physical? Do they need shipped? Do they, again, like if it depends on what you're selling. If it's a digital product, no problem. Like sell it on FlutterFlow. Build a little FlutterFlow web shop. Um, but there's a lot of integrations that you need for physical items like shipping and yeah, postal services, weight stuff. Like you can build it all in FlutterFlow. It probably makes more sense to have a HTML, CSS front where you can use Shopify, WordPress, something like that. That is, built for that, and you can manage inventory there for your clients. But yeah, is it possible? For sure, you can do it. Again, SEO, Flutter issue, not FlutterFlow, but a Flutter issue, just like Angular or React, right? It's going to be better if you build it in one of those platforms that are built for SEO. So I hope that answers your question. I think it did. But yeah, it's going to be super fun. All of these features are coming soon.
yes.
You'll be able to play around with them. We are excited to see what you all build. Uh, I will try to build out more templates today after I get the marketing graphics done, so you guys can play around with that. But as you saw, like already, we have list views in the template components. We
Mhm.
have drop downs in the template components. You can just go in there and mess around. So you can test it yourself when we launch it. So
Last thing, Andrew, are we gonna have a live stream next week? Are we not gonna have a live stream next week?
great question. We will not have a live stream next week. We're having a team on site and we will all be on the road on Thursday morning. So no live stream next week. We're gonna be hanging out, drinking coffee. So
Nice.
yep.
So
And
we'll see
then
you all in. Well, no, we won't have one for 2 weeks.
yeah, we won't have one for
2 weeks? 3 weeks.
we'll have to see because Will and I are both taking off the first week of June,
Yeah,
so we may have to pass it off to some of the dev
sure.
people.
Do a
John would love to
FlutterFlow
host.
Dev Team AMA. That would be put them on the spot.
We'll put Pooja on. Pooja can do it.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
True.
calling her out. We're telling her.
Yes.
And John, her and John would be a dynamic duo. So
Nice.
they'd probably be way more entertaining than us.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. Sorry, we went a little over.
Yeah.
Thanks for staying on, chatting.
Yep.
Thank you for all the questions too. This is great. So we'll see y'all. We'll see you all the next time we see you. Don't know when that's gonna be, but
Nice.
yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. Thank you.